If you've ever driven through the Australian outback at night, you know how silent it can be. Too silent. But on that night, the silence wasn't empty. It felt heavy, like the darkness itself was waiting for something. I swear to you, something followed me all the way home, and I don't think it ever left. I used to work in a small mining town, 5 hours past Alice Springs. My shifts ended late, long after everyone else was already asleep, and driving through the empty outback at night became part of my routine. I knew the bends in the road, the cracks in the asphalt, the feeling of being the only person for kilometers in every direction. But that night, the moment I stepped out of the work site, something felt wrong. The air was too still, too cold, and the sky was pitch black. No moon, no stars, just a suffocating blanket of darkness stretching across the entire horizon. I tried to ignore the feeling and started the long drive home. For the first 20 minutes, nothing unusual happened, just my headlights slicing through the emptiness and the soft crunch of gravel under the tires as the road shifted from bitumen to red dirt. But then, out of nowhere, my headlights caught something on the side of the road. At first, I thought it was a kangaroo frozen in the light, but as I got closer, my blood turned to ice. It wasn't an animal, and it definitely wasn't human. It stood upright like a person, but impossibly tall, its body thin to the point of deformity, its skin cracked and pale like dried clay left under the sun for too long, and its head hung sideways at an angle no neck should ever bend. I slowed down without meaning to. The creature didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't react to the car at all. It just stared at me. I couldn't see its eyes. There was only shadow where its face should be. But I felt it, looking directly into me as my car passed. Its head snapped upright with a sound like a branch breaking in the wind. I floored the accelerator. I didn't want to look back, but some instinct forced my eyes to the rearview mirror, and that's when I saw it. Not standing, not still, running, keeping up with the car. It didn't run like a person or an animal. Its movements were jerky, unnatural, as if its limbs didn't know how joints were supposed to work. It glided through the scrub, covering enormous distances in seconds. Every time I blinked, it was closer, its long fingers dragging furrows in the dirt. My radio cut out. My lights flickered. The engine sputtered for a moment, and the creature's face slid into view in the side mirror, inches away, staring into the glass with those hollow, dead shadows where eyes should be. Panic took over. I pressed the accelerator to the floor and didn't stop until I saw the distant glow of my town's streetlights. When I finally reached my house, I jumped out of the car and ran inside, slamming the door behind me. I locked everything, every window, every door, even the back shed, and stood there for several minutes trying to calm my breathing. My heart was hammering so loudly I could hear it echo through my ribs. I kept telling myself it wasn't real, that I was overtired, hallucinating from exhaustion, until I heard the first knock. Not a normal knock, slow, heavy. 3 loud, deliberate thuds on the front door. I froze. The knocks came again and again. I walked up to the door as quietly as I could and pressed my eye to the peephole. Nothing, no one there. But just as I stepped back, a deep, slow breath pressed against the other side of the door. I could hear it, an exhale so cold it fogged through the wood. I backed away, and the floorboards behind me creaked one by one, as if someone was walking right behind me in the dark. I sprinted to the living room and flicked the light switch. The lights flashed twice, then died completely. The house dropped to freezing temperatures. My breath turned white in the dark, and from deep within the hallway, I heard the sound again, that awful cracking neck sound, the same one the creature made on the roadside, except now it was inside my home. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. Its weak beam trembled as I pointed it toward the hallway. At first, all I saw was darkness. Then the breathing began again, slow, heavy, too close. Something moved at the far end of the hall, something tall, something bending. Its silhouette stretched unnaturally long across the wall. My hand shook so badly I nearly dropped the phone, and then the shape stepped into the light. It was the same creature, or something like it. Its limbs were bent backwards, its joints twisted in impossible angles. Its skin peeled and cracked with every movement, like dry bark splitting open. Its head dangled loosely to the side, then snapped upright as it stared at me. Its mouth opened far wider than any human mouth should. And then it spoke. In a voice that sounded like two voices layered over each other, it whispered, "I found you." I stumbled backward into the bedroom, slammed the door, and pressed my weight against it. My phone flickered and went black. The breathing grew louder outside the door. The handle turned slowly, then violently. Something pushed against the door from the other side. The wood groaned under the pressure. That's when the mattress behind me dipped, as if someone or something had just sat on it. I didn't move, I didn't breathe, I didn't look. The air filled with the smell of soil, damp, warm soil like the creature had dragged the Outback into my room. Then, just at the edge of my vision, a hand climbed up the mattress. Long, cracked fingers. Then another hand, and another. 3 hands gripping the bed, pulling something up from the shadows. I turned slowly, the flashlight barely lighting anything, and saw its face rising over the edge of the mattress. Its jaw hung open, splitting the skin at the corners. Its eyes burned with a faint dying light. And then it whispered again, "You left the door open." Before I could react, something else moved in the hallway. Heavy footsteps. Not the creature's. Something larger. Something breathing louder. The creature on the bed tilted its head toward the door and smiled, its face cracking. "You brought more than me," it whispered. They followed, too. The door burst open. But nothing stood there, just darkness. A shadow, darker than the dark itself. 2 glowing shapes emerged from that void. Eyes, not human, not animal. Something else entirely. The creature in my room backed away into a corner, bowing its head as if in fear, and the shadow stepped into the room. Its body shifted constantly, like smoke trapped in a human outline. No face, no features. Just a void where a face should have been. And yet, I felt it staring directly at me. My heart stopped. My breath vanished. The room fell silent. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't respond. The shadow reached one arm toward me, long, shapeless, dripping darkness, and touched my shoulder. The world dissolved. The walls stretched and tore away. The floor vanished beneath my feet. I was standing in the middle of the Outback again, but it wasn't the Outback, not the real one. This version was wrong. The ground pulsed like it was breathing. The sky was a swirling black void, and all around me, stretching in every direction, stood dozens of those tall, broken creatures, all facing me, all tilting their heads, all watching. The shadow stood behind me and whispered inside my skull, "You shouldn't have looked at us." I tried to run, but the ground swallowed my legs. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The creatures began to move closer, cracking, twitching, bending their bodies into shapes that defied everything human. The shadow placed its hand on my shoulder again, pulling me downward into the living earth. The last thing I heard before everything vanished was the creature from my house, whispering, "We know where you live now."